Happy game day, everybody, and welcome back to Living on the Wire. Sorry, it's been missing for a couple of weeks. There was the small act of going on my honeymoon, which I think trumped following the waiver wire for a little while. And then on return, we both got pretty violently ill. I'm going to use the word explosive. You can fill in the blanks. But here we are, we're back, and it's firing into all the different bye weeks, massive amounts of injuries to running backs and wide receivers, and of course a few quarterbacks dropping dead. The Raiders cleaning house, and looks like Jimmy G won't be getting much action. He's a very handsome man, very pretty man, but unfortunately he cannot play football very well. Anyway, we're going to get going. We'll try and fly through this as fast as we can. I had thought about actually just kind of killing it with a couple of weeks being off. I'm not sure if anybody missed it. But Jago was crying and he left me like a big voicemail, and he was really sad. So this one's for you, Jago, and hopefully you learn a little bit about who's picking up who, and it'll help you for future weeks. Some interesting players actually put back onto the wire for bye weeks, so some scrambling to be done next week. And we go straight in, and Keith's dropped $20 to pick up Trey McBride. He played pretty well last week, got quite a lot of points, and he's been relatively consistent. I think he's the league's sort of number 17 tight end at the moment, and tight ends can be hard to come by. So a really good option there, considering that Ertz is going to be out for a little bit, and Trey's going to pick up some of the work there. Will Levis looked really good on his debut. Maybe we've seen the last of Tannehill there. Maybe this is a start of Tennessee turning things around. So if he lives up to his hype, then Ross has got himself a pretty decent backup quarterback in there, especially considering he's dropped Desmond Ridder, who has looked pretty poor, and it looks like will not be playing this week, but we will see. I don't know if Atlanta really know what they're doing. They're great, talented players, lovely players. I would quite happily have the offensive action on the Patriots. Even like Cordarrelle Patterson, who's not getting much game action at all, is a fantastic player. But they just don't seem to know what to do. Allen picking up Pierre Strong for $9. He's been sort of filling in that running back room with, of course, the injuries that they've been having. Hunt's back in there as well, but he's sharing the workload with Strong, and he seems to be getting more and more points, so that's a good little pickup. And the Green Bay Packers are kind of drifting into nothingness at the moment, looking like one of the poorer teams in the league. And so Luke Musgrave's not getting much action, so sensible little swap around there. And then Downey scooping up Dotson. How do we think there myself? He seems to be getting more and more action in Washington. But they're not always the most consistent on offense, so he might get you 5 points, he might get you 15 points, who knows. But he is outscoring Dalvin Cook, so I can totally see why we've got that little swap around there. Not so much money spent on these players, but they still came through on that Wednesday waiver wire. Allen picking up Jonathan Mingo, talented rookie who's just been waiting for his quarterback to get better so he can actually get some action. And obviously, the sad news, Kirk Cousins having a Pro Bowl style season and he gets himself injured. Poor fella, so no harm there letting him go. Burnett signing up with the Buffalo Bills. It'd be interesting to see how much action he gets. They've got, a veteran running back in there. They've got Cook, who's been playing pretty well. I wonder if he's just there to add depth to that room. I wonder how much time he'll get, but if he does play, he's a solid player, and I'm sure he'll score big. Be interesting to see. And Rodriguez not exactly doing much in his running back room, so why not swap them out? Robin swapping kickers. That'll be a tough one. Brandon McManus has been playing really well this season. I think he's the number 3 ranked kicker, but it's bye weeks and you've got to try and decide who you're going to risk dropping that down onto that waiver wire. And I guess kicker is maybe an easy position to swap around and trade, but I bet you would have loved to have had an extra spot to hang on to McManus. And then you got Keith scooping up the Raiders D, just bye week cover. The Raiders defense seems to be getting a little bit better. They're going to need to play a lot better if the Raiders are going to do anything this season. And Lions on a bye. Aftermath. I'll zip through these guys because I think they're a bit less important. These are people who are just trying to scramble around to cover for bye weeks. No big action here. Brian scooping up Mac Jones. I don't think he hangs on to him for very long. And also scooping up the Tampa Bay defense. Again, bye week cover with the Jags out. And then Andy Thorburn scooping up Shakir, a player who sometimes just has a big game for Buffalo, sometimes just gets a lot of love from Allen, and then other days he's completely disappears. However, Giants just don't throw the ball. Felt really bad for that little Danny DeVito fellow. Just imagine that. You're a hometown boy, you've wanted nothing more in your whole entire life to play quarterback for the New York Giants, and they go, here's your big moment, off you go, pal, get in there. Oh, no, don't throw the ball. You're not allowed to throw the ball. What you need to do is just do nothing. You need to just hand the ball off and just do nothing and just watch the game, but you're just going to watch it in this new position. I would be heartbroken. Your big chances there, and they don't even let you throw one ball. Anyway, yeah, I can see why Andy has gone for a little swap around there. Some points is better than no points. And then Steve picking up Hunter Henry. I wouldn't have personally. That Patriots offense is absolutely terrible. I think the headline I read was he quickly becomes a non-factor in New England. Hey, but it's bye weeks. You need somebody. There's not that many tight ends out there. He'll probably get you a point or two. No harm, no foul. And then you can dust your hands of him next week when you don't need him anymore. And here we are at the players that were picked up after the fact. And we got Andy Thorburn picking up Demario Douglas, hoping that maybe he gets some more opportunities with Kendrick Bourne being out injured. But that Patriots offense has been so bad this season. I wouldn't be surprised if that's one extra pass or no extra passes. I would expect nothing in particular out there, but he might cover you for a bye. We can get you a point or two. Robin picking up the Vikings. The Vikings defense does look like it's starting to improve, and it's going to need to improve because they're going to have to spend a lot of time winning that ball back. I don't think they'll be hanging onto the ball as well without Kirk Cousins there. That could be a shrewd move as well. And then Greg making his double move. He's really wanting to hang on to the 49ers defense. He also wants to hang on to Kittle. So he's had to drop his wide receiver cover. So he's dropped Tutu Atwell and he's dropped Elijah Moore. So there's two possible wide receivers if anybody's looking for cover this week or next. And he's picked up the New York Giants and Otton to cover. And then in the following days, here's a little look at the players that started firing out. Gary scooping up Jimmy G and then changing his mind. Brian's release of Desmond Ridder means he's picked him up instead. I'm not sure, but those are two quarterbacks that I don't think are going to play, and even if they do play, I don't think they're going to do very much. Brian came to his senses. He's dropped Mac Jones, picked up Taylor Heineke, who I reckoned is going to play, and I'm actually really hoping plays well because that Falcons offense has so much talent and potential that they just need a quarterback that is going to get them the ball in all the right situations. Then up across the top, the Lions picking up a running back, Chase Edmonds, as for his cover, getting rid of Kenneth Gainwell, who keeps picking up little knocks and just hasn't been having the season you'd expect. Jago needing a new kicker with Jake Moody out on a bye week, so Greg the Leg, why not? He's been absolutely nailing them in for the Jets. Unfortunately, the Jets just don't give him as many chances as maybe you'd like. Robin scooping up Everett, painful player to have on your team because sometimes he can score big, usually when he's on your bench, and in other weeks he can do absolutely nothing. But if all you've had to risk is your backup QB in Minshew, why not? And then Gary picking up a quality kicker in Nick Folk, a kicker I wish we'd hang on to the Patriots because, yeah, our rookie's not been fantastic. Yeah, and there you have it. Those are the other guys. Sorry if I missed anyone. There was loads after the fact this week. Bye weeks create quite a lot of action. A big spender, of course, Keith at Smokehead, dropping $20 to get himself a tight end. I wonder if he'll be happy with that. And the only person who gets to decide that is the fantasy gods. So may the fantasy gods be kind, except to Steve, because I hope I pump you in the face. That didn't come out the way I meant it to, but there it is. There it is. Have an awesome week with fantasy, and I'll catch you later. Bye.